Okay, welcome to another game of X-Plane. We're going to have a nice flight today. We're going to head from Cairns Airport all the way to Port Moresby. So if you have a look where we are now, you see where we're at Cairns Airport there. See, surrounded by a lot of mountains there, but that's alright, that's not going to bother us. So basically we're just going to see where we are. We're over at the park gate. We're gonna start here, get the plane all started up, configured, head down the taxiway all the way down. Actually, no, where are we gonna go? Yeah, what we'll do is we'll come down here, down this taxiway, down to the end of the runway, turn around and take off. So what we'll do, so this runway, I think 34? Runway 34? No, 33. So that's what we're going to take off. So, alright, let's get started. We'll head inside now and we'll get our plane ready. Alright, so we're completely cold and dark at the moment. First things first, let's get our ground power started. Caution. And standby power is off. So we'll get our standby power bus online and switch to auto. Get our battery on. Okay. And let's get some of our core systems online. Your damper on. Get our probe heaters on. I won't get rid of heaters just yet. We'll get the electrical hydraulic pumps on. Next step, we're going to get our APU started. Okay, so you can hear the APU running now. Got APU power. Should shove in the bus in a sec. That onto the bus and ground power isolated. Okay, our seatbelt signs on. Okay, APU bleed. We'll get that bleed air going in to the engine in preparation for startup. We'll get our lights strobing. Anti-collision wing lights on. Wheel well lights on. Taxi lights dim. Okay. Let's start engine 1. Oh, hang on. Fuel pumps. Wing fuel pumps on. Start. And we're cranking. Throttle is idle. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and fuel on. Engine starting, spinning up, N2 spinning up. Okay, that's good. So we can put the generator on the bus now. Alright, engine 2 start. And 20 and spinning up. There we go. Looking good. Okay. Generator on the bus. Ground power is now off. We'll leave the APU running for now. Taxi lights are on auto. Okay, so we're pretty much configured for takeoff now, or for at least taxi. We'll get our engine hydraulics on, electrical hydraulics are on, engine anti-ice we won't worry about, wing anti-ice we won't worry about. It's going to be quite warm today. Same with the window heaters. We will leave the probe heaters on though. Alright, we're in a position to start moving. Switch on those center fuel pumps. You'll see I've loaded 14,400 pounds of fuel today. I'm going to leave the center tank off, so I just want us to run on the wing tanks for now, while we lighten up the wing tanks to make it easier for landing, and we'll probably switch on to the center tanks later in the flight. Now, the flight goes for 1 hour and 29 minutes roughly, so I will stream the whole thing. I may step away for a while we're flying, but we'll definitely be streaming the whole thing. Okay, so let's get ready. Brakes off. Won't worry about the push cart because we're already in a good position to turn around. We'll just spin her up. There we go. Yeah. Okay. I might actually be able to make that turn. I might skip it a bit. We'll go straight down this taxiway here. It's not normally a taxiway you turn down because of the angle, but we can make it, so we'll do that. Okay. So 1 second on the outside. It's a bit rainy on the outside today. Okay, check the runway's clear. No traffic. Alright, entering the runway now. Always going down the center of the runway where possible. Alright, now while we're moving, I'm going to start configuring the plane for takeoff. So we're going to head fly runway heading 33, just away from the runway. I'm going to set a cruise altitude of 32,000 feet. In my flight plan I requested a window of 34 to 39, 33 to 39, sorry. And we'll fly 300 knots. (3,200 feet per minute climb out). Alright, let's slow it down. And we'll spin it around. Now I would normally pair the throttle for this one, but we're going slow enough that we can just use the steering arm there. Okay, bring it right around. More power. Okay. And we have clearance for takeoff on runway 33. And we're dialed in for 33. So its runway's actually 325. We'll dial that in. 327 for the look of it. So we'll dial in 327 and fixed lights on. Taxi lights off. APU running. All systems are good. Seatbelt side on. And away we go. P1. And rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Autopilot engage. Now, I'm going to leave it up to the comments to see if you guys noticed what I did wrong there. There was a slight mistake I made, but nothing that really affected our takeoff. The runway was very long, so that should give you a big clue. Alright, so we're now climbing out. We'll set our speed. Speed brake off. Flaps are up. Alright, now while we do that, I'll get the flight computer ready. So I'm going to start our climb out. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to pause for just a moment. I just need to load the flight plan into the computer, and unfortunately I can't do that from here. So let me see if I actually, maybe I can do it from here. Let's have a look. Which button is it? No. Right menu, co-pilot. Okay, so I can't do it from here. Alright, just bear with me 1 second. It's pretty bad weather at the moment. Get out of my lights back off now. Get the right into it. Alright, just bear with me a sec. I'm just going to have to pause this for a sec. Sorry about this, just bear with me a sec. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. I have transferred the file now, so we should be good to go. So now if I go to route menu, co-pilot, we should see our flight plan. There it is. So that's now loaded in. Saves me having to program all the fixed waypoints in. I could do it manually, and I probably will for the next flight just to make it more interesting. But for now, we won't worry about that. Alright, I'm going to shut our APU down now. I've switched over our bleed air from the APU to the main engines. So we can shut the APU down now, so we don't need that anymore. And we can see our fuel coming down from our wings. There is a fuel imbalance there, so I will shut off... Oh, alright, not that one. That was not ideal. I turned off the wrong switch here. This is why you should definitely check before you actually do something like that, because I did accidentally just shut down engine 2 while I did that, which was pretty stupid. So we'll get that engine back up and running again. Now, what I'm going to do now is turn on the crossfeed, wait for the valve to open, then I shut down the fuel feed. So now we're just pulling fuel from the left wing now. So I'll wait till that's now equal to 2.71 thousand tons, and then we'll be a lot more comfortable. But you can see how well the plane handled that. Didn't even skip a beat. Alright, we're at now 12,000 feet. I'm now activating our LNAV, which will start us on our flight plan. So our next waypoint is roughly 23 nautical miles away. Turn off our wipers now. And once we've completed this turn, I'll be able to switch off our seatbelt sign. Everything else looks good. We can turn off our probe heats now. It's certainly not cold enough. Actually, no, it is. It doesn't like that being off. We're at 305. That's looking good. You can see as we've flown runway heading all the way out. Switch it so we're flying north. So we were flying west. No. East. Oh, don't mind me. We're now flying roughly north, which is kind of where we want to go for Port Moresby, so that makes sense. So we're now 29.4 nautical miles from the waypoint. $20,000 feet. See, it's pretty average weather in Cairns today, but we're well above that. Okay, we'll intercept this track in just a moment. We probably could have dropped the first waypoint. It would have saved a bit of time, but that's okay. It's not going to affect our flight plan at all. And MDA2 is at 35,000 feet. We're at 23, so it's well above us. Same with that one, they're both well above us. So no issues there at all. Oh, clouds disappeared briefly. That will be X-Plane resetting the weather. It updates the weather every 15 minutes or so, just to make sure that it's current with real world weather. Alright, now we're on real world weather now. So we're on track for YBCS. 25,000 feet. This is a very pretty aircraft. Kind of overshot it a little bit on the wing fuel there, but that's alright. We'll just switch the other wing and we'll get that down. Doesn't affect it one iota, the fuel consumption rate. You'll notice no matter how many fuel pumps are on, fuel flow rate won't change, it'll stay consistent. And that'll drop pretty significantly once we get to our cruise altitude. I'll put that down to 2400. Slower rate of climb to allow us to maintain our speed a bit better. And we're commencing our next turn onto our next waypoint. We're now at 32,000 feet. 2,000 feet to go. I would really like this map if we could zoom it out a lot more. Doesn't matter what mode you do, you're limited to a very small area. That's fine. So, wind's fine, 4 knots. Yeah, there's hardly any wind, we're not worried about that at all. Okay, we're now balanced. Next waypoint is at 15.8 nautical miles. That's Nonum. Nuneham is a 20 nautical mile track, followed by CS, which is 19, Zany, which is 50, Pupeb, which is 100, Capso, which is 146, which is our largest leg, Lenac 76, and AYPY, which is our destination. So at Lenac is probably when we will start our descent from 34, and yeah, until then it's pretty much just cruising speed till we get there. We're at altitude now, and we're at cruising speed. Alright, I'm just going to turn the microphone off for a little bit, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, now it's probably a good time for us to enable that center pump again. So now we're pumping fuel from the center tank as well as the main tanks. So it'll keep us a nice even usage from all our tanks now. And make sure that our wings are nice and light for when we land in Port Moresby. We're 8 nautical miles from our next track. So we're currently flying 101 magnetic. So if we look at our flight management computer, it's going to say that we're going to be turning to almost north. Oh, we're doing it now apparently. So it's a bit of a strange track that we've been on, but you know, far be it from me to argue with the flight planners on this one. So you'll see that we've gone out, we've come around more than 180, head back towards the airport, turn right around again, come back, head towards the airport again, and now we're heading towards Port Moresby. Now what's strange is I didn't actually validate this flight plan when I created it. I used the flight management computer, flight management generator to actually generate the flight plan. So I'm confused as to why it flew us back like that. But the tracks all look right, so it's done what the flight plan said to do. I'm just confused as to why it did it. But that's okay. I mean, the flight plan, the amount of fuel we had on the board was calculated based on the flight plan, so we have more than enough fuel. I'm not worried about that. It's just strange to see that sort of flight plan. I mean, I could expect that if we're in a traffic hold or something, but it's not what I would see. Oh, we've got our first comment. Oh, it's awesome. Yes, we can see it, and I will reply, and I will say hello. Hello, Mr. Awesome. If only you were as awesome as I am. Look at me flying a 737 while you're at home not flying the 737. I'm going to have to make a mental note to check the comments more frequently because this thing doesn't timestamp it. So I can't see when the actual comment was made, so I feel kind of bad. But that's alright. So we've overshot a bit. That's because my rate of turn is quite wide and I'm flying quite fast as well, so I've overshot our intercept. So I'm adjusting for that now, and it's just we're gonna fly 340 to intercept that track. So we're heading towards it now. Once we hit that intercept, we should. So we're on Zany. We're on Zany for 32 miles. So in a few seconds, it will commence a right-hand turn to line us back up with Zany. There we go. Look at that, pin of beauty. So as we fly around now, we're back in our intercept now, flying 05 like we should be, 05, so almost north, and then we're basically going to turn 1 degree to the left. Once we hit the waypoint, we'll fly that, boom, the whole way in. It's starting to get dark actually. We'll get our dome lights turned on. The sun is setting, and it's setting in the west, so we can see quite well. I don't want to have any shadows and miss something. If we look at our fuel consumption rate, it's come down nicely. turn the center tank off again. We'll get those wing tanks a bit lower. It's not going to be good when that comes down. The sun's going to be glaring through this window. We should fly. Where are we flying now? Bring up on the map. We're well over the ocean now. Not much in the way of wind at this altitude. Bearing 66, 3 knots, so won't even feel it. At this altitude there's not likely to be much unless there's a nice tailwind or something, but in this case, yeah, there's nothing. Yes, awesome. I'll be playing Civ after this, don't you worry about that. According to this, we only have 246 plus 76, so about 300 nautical miles to go. And at this rate, I mean, the whole flight should take about, at this speed, an hour and 10. So we're probably a third of the way through the flight now, so we've probably got 45 minutes to go. And then I'll play some Civ and get rolled again like I did last night. If you haven't seen last night's game of Civ, you should watch it. It's really entertaining watching me get absolutely destroyed. I normally play Civ 1 and I play in Earth mode. Usually the Roman, just because I always played Roman as a kid. And I got absolutely rolled. I didn't get past 3 cities, I don't think. And for a while there I was fighting to hold on to one, and then, yeah, I was just getting attacked by everybody. I was so weak I couldn't even hold on to my allies. I had no chance. I'm hoping you're liking the music now. I've ditched the music generated that my editing software uses, and I've just started playing a collection of mod files just because they're a little more interesting and they're not likely to get copyright flagged. If anyone has any concerns about the mod files though, or wants credits, or if your mod file and you don't want me to play it, let me know and I'll definitely ditch that out. Or credit you if you want. I'm happy to do that too. I need to go through and sort out the list of it because there are a couple in there with really dodgy names. I don't know how you create some of these mod files, but some of the names are a little interesting. So I'll go and sanitize that list a bit, and then where I've got the playback indicator at the top here, which I think looks really cool. Can you guess the media player I'm using? I'll put up the song title as well, just to make it a little more interesting. Make sure there's a lot happening on the screen. I'm glad you watched it. I knew you'd like it. It was a nice short one. I'll definitely do another one tonight though. Hopefully this doesn't take too much longer, because I would like to get to bed early tonight. Because I was wrecked this morning from staying up so late last night. I'm sort of half waiting for Awesome to tell me to just crash the plane, but I can't really do that. That would be naughty. I'm not a crashing plane kind of guy. I'm a landing perfectly down the center line every time kind of guy. So we've got 84 nautical miles to the next waypoint. What's that current speed? 87. I can probably increase that speed a little bit. 320. Throw an extra 20 knots in there. That'll help us get a little bit quicker. I'm really liking having the comments on the screen now. I think it makes it a lot more interesting. I just wish we had more people watching it live. There is currently 3 people watching it, and there's only 1 person in the comments. I'm pretty sure one of those feeds is me. The other one, Awesome, obviously. No idea who the third one is, but welcome. I hope you're enjoying it. Certainly not a lot going on. I'm probably not going to do many more of these long play explains, just because they are a bit boring. I mean, flying a plane, right? Unless you're doing more air traffic control, which I might do. It's basically just like 10 minutes of interesting at the start, 10 minutes of interesting at the end, and then an hour of boring in the middle. So I probably won't do too many more of these, just because I find them a bit boring as well. Just because I'm basically just sitting here trying to come up with things to talk about while we zoom across the ocean here. So we're at 34. They're at 34 and climbing. So it's good they're climbing above us. Yeah, so I might do more circuit videos. I might do more failure videos. Like starting in midair and having some sort of failure, or just doing more circuits, touch and goes, that sort of thing. It might be a bit more interesting. And I'll try and mix up the aircraft a bit. I really like the 737. I find it the most fun to fly. But I might use the 747, and I might fly some more light aircraft as well. Ones that are less dependent on autopilot. I find it hard to fly more true though with my joystick. I'm using a Logitech 3D Extreme Pro, and it's very stiff, so it's quite hard to fly true when you fly really authentically when you're flying with that thing. Plus, it tends to, when you're going to the extremes of the yoke's movement, it tends to move around a bit, and that causes the plane to wobble. And because the stick's also the rudder control as well, it makes the plane wobble and a bit unrealistic in that regard. I will eventually be upgrading to a proper flight stick, a flight yoke, and a throttle quadrant. My goal is obviously to build a full decked out 737 cockpit at some point, complete with instrument panels and everything, but I'm not there yet. So right now I'm just rocking my joystick. I'm actually in the process of designing my own autopilot instrument panel. I've basically got the rotary encoders working for the IS altitude and speed. Sorry, IS heading and altitude, but I haven't found a decent two-position rotary encoder where I can actually mark out the proper bank angle indicators. So I'll have to try and keep looking around for that. I might end up having to make a custom one. They're not too expensive if you buy them in bulk. I also need to get a horizontal one for the vertical speed, one for course, or two for courses, and some better switches and things. So the electronics for it are basically done. It's been done before, but I want to see if I can make it cheaper. I mean, the good ones, you can get a good one for about €300 or €400. That will do most of the stuff. The buttons don't really look authentic and whatnot, but I saw an authentic one today for about €2,000, and I reckon I can make one cheaper than that. I'm hoping that if I can get it under the $900 mark, fully authentic looking. It won't be metal. I'll 3D print the front panel and make a silk screen to go over the top of it. I've also got to try and find a decent white 7-segment display. All I've got at the moment are red and green. I don't really like that. I'd really rather they're white. And these buttons are hard to find too. I might end up having to make custom ones. But yeah, we'll see how we go with that. That's a long-term project. And if that works out, I'll make the EFIS panel and some of these other instrument panels that are quite useful. I'm not going to make the throttle quadrant. That's just well outside my skill set. There's too much mechanics in these things. I am going to buy one though. There is one that's incredibly authentic. It basically looks real. The only thing I might change is the trim wheels to make them a bit more solid feeling, because I think they're plastic. So I might deck them out and make some milled aluminium ones or something. Alright, here we're going. We have 37 nautical miles. I didn't even notice we changed waypoint. I didn't even notice. That's good. That talking's gotten us through a fair bit. So we've got 35 nautical miles to Quebec. So basically just, it's a straight shot now to AYPY. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you guys have any requests for games, I'm more than happy to take requests. Quite often half my battle is just trying to pick a game that I feel like playing, so if you guys have a suggestion, that'll definitely motivate me to play something a little more interesting. I'm going to start, a few of my friends are playing 7 Days to Die, so I'll probably play that a bit more. I might live stream those. Hopefully I'm doing more than just mining. I'll try and live stream them when it's close to day 7. Or the 7th day of the week, so you basically just see more zombie battles, which is probably more interesting than watching me mine. I'll make for a more interesting video, that's for sure. So yeah, I might play some Civ. Jill, I'll do a quick Civ game tonight. I'll play some Jill. I might even play Carmen San Diego. I think that'll be fun. I've had the theme for Carmen San Diego stuck in my head for a while. Sadly, not even the game theme. I've had the cartoon theme in my head for a while now. Where in the world is Carmen San Diego? I can't do the name, but you know, I mean that such. I never even knew that was a TV show as a kid. I didn't discover it until I was like 5 years ago, and it was around in the 90s. So. I'd like to get that done by 2 before I switch over to Cenotaph again. How are we looking? 17 nautical miles till our last stretch, the big one. The sun's coming down. Where are you going? You're obviously far enough away that I don't have to worry about it. 2,000 feet above me, so I wish X-Plane was a little more careful where it spawned in aircraft for the realism. And they seem to go in weird angles too. Like they don't follow flight plans. I can't expect them to all be, you know, the virtual traffic to be following these flight tracks, but they're not. Just maybe it's for X-Plane 12 here. 24. 24. 10 miles, just speed up. So you definitely want to keep it out of the orange if you can. But that's once we get to 330. It'll take us a little while to get there, but it will drop down to about 97, I'd say, percent throttle to maintain 330. Knots, but an extra 10 knots will make a difference into getting us where we need to go. What is that? Really? A King Air? I'm not sure a King Air would be out this far, to be honest. Oh yeah, I forgot it does that too. I wish there was a way you could actually stop it from accident. I don't like that you can accidentally drag the planes with your mouse and move them around. I don't know if you can do it to your own plane, but I'm not willing to try because I don't really like that as a feature. Doesn't look like we're going to get past 324, so we'll take it back to 320. 320 looks like the best we're going to get at this altitude. We can leave it at 324, but it's probably putting the engine a little bit of strain on it. We'll turn our seatbelts off now. Poor passengers have had their seatbelts on for a while. Sorry about that, passengers. We'll just say there was turbulence or something.
Tell you what, with this sort of flying, I wouldn't get a job with QANTAS. Oh, forgetting to do things. Now, did you figure out what I forgot at the takeoff? Let me give you a hint. Let me give you a hint what I forgot when I took off before. Oh, God. Just to show you how well these planes work, especially on a long runway. Didn't even need the flaps. I could have happily taken off with no flaps. Well, I did. Took off with no issues at all. I just had to have a slightly longer roll. You'll notice when I pull back at brake tape, it did take a little bit longer than normally to get off the ground. But yeah, we did it, no worries. Climb out was fine. Might have had a bit of an issue if we had an engine problem with the flaps out. Like if we'd had a dual engine failure, not having the flaps would have been a bit of an issue for us. But in this instance, it wasn't too bad. We'll definitely need the flaps for landing, because I think the Port Moresby runway is quite short in comparison to Cairns. So I'm just going to check the length of the runway now. So I'm just going to Skyvector to look up the runway stats. So there's two runways. They're both parallel to each other, 14 left and 14 right. 14 right is 2 kilometers long, 2,072 meters long, and 14 left is 2,750 meters long. So we'll land on runway 14 left, I think. Sorry, we'll land 32 right. And we won't do a circuit, we'll fly direct once we get near there. So the runway heading is actually 323, so remember that. We have our alternate airport near Port Moresby as well, is Kirua, which is 74 nautical miles from Port Moresby. So we're now on Capstone, 111 nautical miles to go. When we get to Lanac, I'm going to start our descent. So we're well and truly over the ocean now. Still not close enough to see Port Moresby yet. We can't imagine it initially. By the time we get to about here, we'll see it. I'm going to tune the radio now. It's not something I've been doing much of, but I will tune the radio for Port Moresby's ATIS, which is, or Jackson's ATIS, which is 117.00. So, tune that in. I'll tune 117. That's annoying. Tune 117. Oh, never mind. I'm looking at 157. 128. 28.00. Switch that over so this is active. So when we get in range, we should get our ATIS messages and get our information. If you have any feedback and suggestions for things that if I'm missing anything, I'm not doing this with checklists. I should actually get some 737 checklists to make this even more authentic. At the moment, I'm just doing it from memory, and I am forgetting things. I'm doing things in the wrong order and whatnot. I'm certainly not following any air traffic control, which I should be doing to make it more authentic. But the other thing I'm going to do while we're there, we'll tune standby frequency to the approach, which is 125.8. He's close. We're at 34. Oh, he's really close. We're going to get a TCAS warning for that one. Surprised we haven't already got it, to be honest. I'm going to descend. I don't like being that close to it. Yeah. Watch where you're going, dude. We'll just hold at 33 for now, because we are going to have to descend soon. Roughly 211 miles to go, so not too long. Almost been streaming for an hour now. Shadows in X-Plane are fantastic. I used to play Flight Sim 9 a lot, and the shadows were never this good. I mean, X-Plane is just an order of magnitude from Flight Sim 9. I did play Flight Sim X, but I never really liked it as much. I found it really inefficient from a performance perspective. X-Plane can be a little bit boggy at times, but the flight models are just so much better. If that makes us look better. Amazing what just the slightest little camera movement can make from a realism perspective. It just makes it so much more realistic. Even in a cockpit too, having that really movement. It can make turning the knobs a bit tricky sometimes, especially when you're bad weather or something. But it's certainly manageable. Like in Port Moresby, because X-Plane will give us realistic weather. So if we bring up the weather for weather, 26 degrees, it's not raining, no wind, humidity 84%. Ugh. That's not going to be fun. Fortunately, we're in a nice air-conditioned plane at the moment. We've got to go 46 nautical miles on that leg, and then we can start our descent. So another win for the NBN, broadcasting for just over an hour, 0 drop frames, 3.2 gigabytes of data so far uploaded to YouTube. I am using GPU encoding, which is actually making the game lag a little bit, but the plus side of that is that the software I use to do the encoding and the streaming is using like 1% CPU, which is amazing. What I'll probably try next stream is actually switching it to use CPU encoding and leave the GPU for the game. The next game I play will probably be Civ, so probably not really going to get much benefit from that, but it's more just a test really. I probably will lower the bitrate because I am streaming it at 7400 roughly kilobits a second, which is probably a bit high. I might drop it down to 5, it's still enough for 1080p. Not that the internet can't handle it. I'm pretty sure I could upload it like 3 times that bandwidth if I wanted to. But I don't really fancy wasting my upload. I only really get a terabyte a month, and I've used a lot of it streaming this month. Where are you going? All on the same flight level as me. Let's climb above him this time. Transit with them. They are going to go either side of this. That one's going to be gone by the time we get there. That one's going to go behind us. Are you climbing? Oh, you are too. You suck. Avoid that turbulence if we can. So you can see all these intersects. Where these intersect up here is where Port Moresby is going to be. On that track to go, then we can start our descent. So what we'll do is we'll dial in a descent now. We're going to descend to 3,000 feet in preparation for direct. Now, if we look at our approach, what we're going to have to fly. So we're going to be aiming for runway 32 rather. So if we fly say 15 degrees it'll allow us to intercept runway. So we'll dial that in preparation. We'll go to it. So we'll allow us to intercept quicker. So we'll basically, runway's here. We're going to fly this way, which will allow us to bring it around and then come in on runway 3332. Alright, let's start our descent. We'll do a nice gradual descent of 1,000 feet. I'll start with 1,000, see how we go. See what our rates are. 73 knots. Now we go for fuel. Wings are running low, which is good. So we're going to switch on our main fuel pumps now. So now we're running off the center tank. We're probably going to use hardly any fuel in the center tank. We will run dry in the wings, so probably shouldn't have done that, because now we're getting low pressure warnings in the pumps, which means the pumps aren't going to work as efficiently. Unfortunately, the control systems here don't allow me to transfer fuel between the center tanks and the wing tanks. But, we'll just maintain our descend at 1,600 feet. That should keep us below him. So a few issues going to drop now on descend. Alright, there's Papua New Guinea. So I'm going to slow it down again to 275. Alright, now we'll get our seatbelt on. Long way down. Just love watching this thing from the outside. When I used to play Flight Sim 9, I like flying it like this. Because I used to fly not on instruments, I just used to fly all manual. But I think there's a kind of an art to flying it using the instruments and autopilot especially. I am still doing basically VFR approaches. I could do an IFR, I guess. And that might be one I do. I might do an IFR circuit, which would be a nice challenge. So if you're not sure what those are, VFR basically means visual flight rules. Basically means you're flying eyeball, you don't have to rely on your instruments for flight. IFR is instrument flight rules, which means essentially you have no visibility or poor visibility and don't have the ability to fly visually and are relying on your instruments for your navigation and situational awareness. It's a lot more challenging to fly IFR. When they train you to do it, they basically put a special blindfold on you that allows you to not see out the window, but you can still see the instruments fine. It's quite disheartening and challenging if you've never done it before. If you're interested in flying these things, you can actually go to flight experience centers where they will have a fully decked out 737 simulator, not on jacks, but the internals of the cockpit looks exactly identical to what you'd see in a proper flight simulator, and you can fly it, basically do whatever you want, exactly what I'm doing now, but in a real cockpit. and it's amazingly fun. I highly recommend it. It's pretty expensive. It's about I think it was about $150 or so for half an hour, but it was amazing fun. I really enjoyed it. And if you really want to try it out for yourself, it's definitely worth having a go. So we're at 26,000 feet. I can slow that down now. I think it's over 1,000 feet a minute. Feet a good descent speed for us. We have about 110 nautical, 116 nautical miles to go till we reach the airport. 34 nautical miles to the last waypoint. Look at the reflection in the ocean. How cool does that look? There you go. How awesome is that look? Nautical miles to the next waypoint, and then 80 nautical miles from there. About 50 nautical miles, I'll start our turn to line us up with the runway. I still have the radio on QANTAS, but I haven't received it yet, which is strange. I would have thought I'd be picking up the others, but so far nothing. Except for that, it's not here for it was 128. For now, 20,000 feet. When we get to about 10,000 feet, I'll start our APU just as a backup, and I will start configuring the plane for landing. About 100 nautical miles to go. Still not drop frames. Definitely trying to get us before the sun sets. I don't want to be landing in the dark. I mean, we could do it without a problem, but I don't want to do it. I'm not trying to land while the sun. 10,000 feet. Alright, we're on our last last leg in a few minutes. 10 nautical miles to go on this leg. I also highly recommend, if you're going to play X-Plane, get the PFD app for the Android phone. I don't know if there's an iPhone app, there probably is. But having the PFD on your phone, having that underneath your screen is great, especially when you're landing and you've got your viewpoint set to outside the window. Being able to monitor your airspeed and altitude without having to keep looking down like this is just amazing. At the moment I'm only doing that so you guys can see it. It's only a few bucks, it's definitely worth it. Feet. Alright, so we can see Port Moresby on the map now. So basically what we'll do is we'll get to about here and then we will turn to, what did I say, 020. We'll head over here and line up for this track straight down the runway. Still a long way off. Still 80 nautical miles. 16,000 feet. So you notice as our altitude decreases, our Mach speed drops. It just goes to show how much quicker you can fly if you can maintain altitude in these planes. Or any plane really. Normally, because of the wind's at 14 knots, that is a bit of a headwind, which it's totally manageable. You could land again on runway 32 without a problem. But because of that headwind, what I'm going to do is change our attack. We're going to basically fly 32. Sorry, not 32. True north, 360 when we get to about there, and we'll bring it around and then we'll come down and we'll land on runway 14. So we're landing into the wind, which is definitely the best way to do it. So a slight change of plan there, but it's always good. I mean, it's as close as we seem to be able to get to getting ATIS information. So we're at 14,000 feet now. We do have to be careful. There are a lot of mountains around here. It doesn't show up on the map, but you'll be able to see them soon enough. You'll see the mountains dead ahead. Where are we at? Let's get some lights on. Now that we're at 30,000 feet. Still a ways out. About 62 nautical miles. 10 minutes out. Less than 12,000 feet there. Seatbelts on. We won't put the tractable ones out until the last minute. At about 3,000 feet. Put those there. When we're on base, it'll be a good time to extend those. Started now. You're coming on.
Port Moresby Jackson's INTL information for them.
There's our
700 Zulu weather. Wind calm, visibility more than 10. Sky clear, temperature 14, 2.0. Altimeter 2992. Arriving runways 32 right, 32 left. Departing runways 32 right, 32 left.
That's okay.
Advise on
so we're going to fly in
32,
3-2, so that's fine. We'll maintain what we were originally going to do. Switch to approach. Let's go when that's ready. Alright, let's start configuring. So we'll go for 2, they're almost dry. So one is probably fine in that case. Still 300 knots, so we're about flap shit. So we'll have to see. There is rain in the clouds. So this is ILS conditions. When we can't see, we're relying on the instruments to tell us where we are. Our situation, basically all the situation awareness is coming from the instruments, so that's IFR conditions. Just passing 7,000 feet. Last one through our plans, we'll jump down to the next one. Should be good. Put that light on. Start getting a penalized on. It's starting to get a bit dark. I like that these are granular in X-Wing, but wow, it can be time consuming to get all the panel lights up. That's better. Right. Happy you're running and happy you're on the bus. let's make that turn. So we're at 28 nautical miles out now. And we're no longer on VNAV. I'm flying the bottom. 4,400 feet. Might actually make it for 5. We'll go right down the middle here. That'll take us to about there when we commence our turn. Just a reminder there, remind me that the runway heading is 323. So we actually got to go for landing. Set our 2992, which is standard. So we'll set our altitude to 2992. So we're standard. So now our compass is calibrated with the airport. We're maintaining 3,000 feet now. Basically parallel to the runway now. So we're going to bring it a little bit closer, so we're not going out as wide. We're at the right altitude now. We're basically going to come in and directly on final. It's quite cloudy, so I can't see the runway yet, but that's okay. When we get on the leg, I'll slow us down to 240 for our approach. This is 129. So approach 125.8. This is outstanding with 2168. Okay. Start in. Glad we checked that. Dial the runway heading 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's slow down. Quite mountainous around here, so you gotta be careful with your altitude. Because they're all above 5,000 feet, those mountains over there. Still don't have the runway in sight. It's up there somewhere. through to right. We'll start out of 7 in a minute. It's 15. Down. Down and 3 green. We have flaps 10. Heading, just waiting on flaps 15 now. Well above the blades, so we need to slow down more. We'll do a bit of this. Help us descend a bit quicker. Okay, so we're on a good approach. Whoa, hang on, no we're not. There it is. Slow down our approach now. Okay, 323 again. You can see the runway now. Oh, we overshot it again. Next back. That's not a runway, is it? Oh shit, it is too. Nowhere near it. Yeah, we're gonna go around again. I totally screwed that. We're going to go around again. I totally stuffed that up. So we'll get out to about here. We'll turn to 60, go 60, and then head to 123. So yeah, flying rule number 1. You can always go around again. If you make a mistake, just go around again. And that's all we're doing. Alright, let's get it configured for takeoff for Lenny again. 250. 5. Started on 323. So this should get us lined up directly for it. It's 15. Slow it down to 220. 210. So we're to the right of the runway again, so we'll bring it to 210. So we can line up again. And we'll start our descent shortly. 0. That's better. A little bit to the right. Schedule 10 now. 220. Just line this up. Until we can get to 323. Start at descent. Slow down to 5. Still way too high. Flaps right down, so I have to worry about it now. Still way too high. 5. Speed's dropping nicely. Slowly line her up. Still too high. Glide step indicator indicating too high, but correctable. Alright. 323.
1,000.
Slow it down a bit. We're too low now.
500.
Way too low. Auto throttle off.
300.
I'm now flying the plane.
200.
Oh, the wind's pushing us a bit to the right. Left, sorry.
100.
Slide her in.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Nice. Reversing thrust. And we made it.
Caution.
Alright, let's get her off the runway and we'll taxi over to the airport. So if we look at the airport, I'll show you where we are. We'll just we'll drive to the end, bring it around, and we'll just taxi straight over here in the apron there. Oh, it's stuck in reverse, I hate that. Close. Off the runway. I don't really see much. Park over near that Virgin Atlantic plane, I think. Made it with heaps of fuel to spare, not a problem there. And brakes. Alright. So we've done it. We do have ground power on. On the bus. And engines off. And fuel pumps off. Probe heaters off. Fuel damper off. And yeah, we've done it. We've made it. We made it all the way from Cairns to Port Moresby. No problems whatsoever. I'll just shut down the plane now. Generators off. Standby power off. Battery off. Ground power off. Well, we made it. I hope you enjoyed that nice flight. Bit of an interesting landing there, a bit hairy at the end with that crosswind, but we managed to handle it without too much difficulty. Yeah, definitely a good advice is to, if you don't think you're going to make that approach, definitely go around again. If you got any questions or feedback, definitely chuck it in the comments below, and I'll answer it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, we'll catch you next time. And you know, I'll do another stream in about 15-20 minutes of Civ. So yeah, stick around for that. It'll be a new stream, so you'll get a new notification for that. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.